Thank you very much, guys, for taking time out today. It's an honor to have you guys here today. Uh, uh, this topic will be around early stage investing and how we are looking at AI as a disrupting force or as an opportunity for more startups to come in. So let me start off with a little bit of a number here. It says that as of 2024, around $800 million were raised by AI startups in India. It's a pretty impressive number. But at the same time, when we look at it from a perspective of what's happening in the valley, it looks like we are slightly behind. So do you think the Indian startup ecosystem is kind of slow in adoption of AI, or are we there? We are getting there. Harsh, maybe you can go first and Ritesh can go second.
Yeah, I think we're certainly getting there. I think the reality is that Indian startup funding is probably 2 orders of magnitude lower than what we're seeing in the valley. Now, some of that, of course, is driven by the large lab that exists in the valley, and there is tens of billions of dollars, which sort of moves this number up. But we are certainly catching up in India, and the hope is that as we move beyond the model layer to the application layer, that has been the thesis that many of us have believed that we will start to see more companies play here, and we'll see sort of people solving real problems, population scale applications, if you will, that will emerge from India. But today, if you were to look at sort of some of the fastest growing AI companies, they're all sort of based in the valley. The genesis being that the lab started there many years ago, so people have had sort of been working on this idea of Gen AI for a long time. There's more pervasive knowledge about it, and we are sort of catching up. But I hope that we will in the next few years.
Ritesh, you want to go next?
So I don't think we are slow in deploying capital into AI. I think I'll give you some numbers. Today we are seeing at least 50% of our incoming deal flow. At least 50% of our incoming deal flow right now is AI companies of various sorts. Really, I mean, we joke internally that founders seem to want to start only two kinds of companies: AI and quick commerce in India, and that's really where we are seeing deal flow. We have, over the last 2 years, we have invested in 12 AI companies, and just to give you a sense, that is roughly easily 60% of all our investments in the last 2 years have been in AI companies. And I went and looked at which areas we are investing in AI. We have 5 AI SaaS companies, AI applications that we have invested in. There are 2 AI consumer companies that we have invested in. There are 2 development software companies and 3 AI services companies. And all this in the last 2 years. So at least I would not say that either from the founder's side or from the investor's side, there is any slowness. I think, yes, we did take a year and a half to figure out where we want to invest. I think similarly, founders were trying to figure out which were the best applications to build. But I think right now, the deal flow is very robust in AI companies.
When you mean these are AI native startups, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. These are not companies that are transitioning from software companies to AI companies. These are companies that started off with AI as one of the core building blocks of the business.
Got it. No, absolutely. And I think there is a buzz around AI picking up very quickly in Bangalore as well. I shouldn't say only Bangalore, Hyderabad, and the other startup hubs as well. But yes, true. Also, the other important point is we've seen, especially in sectors like fintech or consumer tech, there's a lot of millions of dollars have gone into building large-scale companies. With the coming of AI, with internal processes, and we touched upon it in one of my previous conversations as well, like you can do more with less. So do you think companies at the scale of Paytm or maybe someone like a Zomato getting built much faster with AI with lower expenses? Harshdeep?
Yeah, I'll answer the question two ways. I think yes, it can get built with fewer people. And yes, you can probably build the core technology faster, but I don't necessarily believe it'll be cheaper. And the reason for that is if you believe software is commodity, which a lot of coding agents will lead you to believe that at least it's becoming significantly easier. Then the question is, you are still competing for the same share of wallet, you're still competing for the same mind share. And if that continues to become, harder and harder to get, you're just going to need to spend more capital to get that. So you can have something that is truly innovative, that breaks out, that gets viral adoption, and maybe you sort of see a very organic growth curve. But if you have to spend your way to growth, which frankly, several of the companies that have gone very large have raised billions of dollars, and they have spent tons of money on marketing and cashback and the likes. And if that trend were to continue, and that's what it takes to build a large consumer business, then I would say that it'll probably get more expensive, because more and more people will compete for the same share of wallet, same user attention, and that will yield in them needing to potentially raise more capital.
Ritesh, my question to you is on similar lines, but just specifically on the point that will companies be built in a different fashion? For instance, if I talk about consumer payments for that matter, we saw a typical playbook being followed by most of the companies who are at scale now. Same we've seen with e-commerce and food delivery as well. Do you think that playbook will change?
So, first I would like to talk about the expense of building a company. I mean, I don't know if you have tracked the cost of tokens on LLMs. I think a lot of the expenses actually today of AI companies is going in that direction. So as of today, at least, I don't think AI native companies are consume any less capital. In fact, if anything, they consume more capital than traditional software companies did. But at least all the conversations I've been having with not just tech companies, but also traditional companies, point to cost as not being the main driver of AI adoption, at least in India. Just yesterday, I was speaking to a bank CEO, and he said that their intent in adopting AI has to do a lot more with improved business outcomes, has to do with increased business velocity, and they are not able to underwrite. They are not able to underwrite this on the basis of cost reductions. They are not even looking at cost reductions, and in fact are okay in the short term with cost increases to do business faster and also do better business. Now, on your second question, actually, I wanted to give an example of a fintech company, since you started with Paytm as the example. I think AI is, an AI native fintech company will be built totally differently from how fintech companies have been built so far. We have seen fintech companies in our portfolio adopt voice bots for distribution, for lead qualification, funnel management, AI for funnel management. Onboarding KYC processes are being completely transformed by AI. Back-end processes, a bank or a fintech company has to do a lot of back-end processing. All of that is getting automated by AI. Collections are getting much more efficient with the use of AI, and a lot of fintech companies upsell products to their existing customers. Figuring out what to upsell to who, when, is now getting a lot more efficient with AI. So if you look at the entire stack of processes within a financial services company and particularly a fintech company, all of that is getting redefined with AI. So yes, I do believe that it will be harder and harder for incumbents to adopt AI at the speed that new companies can. And so there is an opportunity for new AI native companies to come and disrupt those incumbents.
In fact, that brings me to my next point is the diversity of our nation also gives opportunity for richness of data, right? Like you get to have so many languages, different, in fact, there was this conversation earlier in the day around, how cheap we are letting go of our own data, right? And it's being taken by global firms all over the world. So do you see large language models specifically to Indic languages? And this has been in conversation, and I would love you guys to, share your insights on it. That's a huge opportunity, but are you seeing enough happening there? Harsh, you could talk about it?
Sure. So I mean, disclaimer, I'm, on the board of Sarvam, which is sort of one of a few attempts that is being made to make sure that Indian languages really get first-class treatment in the AI world. And I think you hit the nail on his head. I think the challenge is that as you get to long tail of Indian languages, dialects, etc., there just isn't enough data that is available. So the problem actually starts with first collection of data, which is sort of, the genesis of the company and the AI for Bharat initiative and the like, which is, can we make sure that no matter what language an Indian speaks, they get a first class treatment? They may sort of speak Hindi, they may speak Marathi, they may speak Kannada, they may speak one of the mainstream languages, in which case there will be enough content on the internet that maybe the main global labs can also do it. But if you sort of speak of a particular dialect or you speak more long tail languages, can we make sure that you actually have? And that was a little bit of sort of what the founders actually wanted to start by doing, saying that if we are able to converse with Indians in the language that is most native to them, there's actually magic to be created there. So that's sort of the premise of the company. Now, to your point, are we seeing lots of attempts in that? I don't think we are seeing enough. I think part of that has to do with availability of talent. There's, to build a LLM from scratch requires, certain level of technical expertise. And I think, if you looked at the number of AI PhDs that exist in India vis-a-vis the Valley or China, we just have a smaller number of those. So, in fact, there are attempts now for companies like Sarvam to set up a lab in the Valley where there are sort of, people of Indian origin who are keen on this problem but are based there, who sort of want to work here. So I think to see more attempts at the fundamental foundation layer, it is a little bit of a talent gap, at least in our view today.
Yeah, Ritesh, in fact, talent is one thing we were also discussing backstage. So I would like you to throw some light on it, like, in terms of entrepreneurial talent, as well as like, to get the quality of people. Are you seeing that challenge in India here?
Yeah, at least my belief has been that any business that requires you to hire 20 PhDs in India is very, very difficult to build. Where will you find 20 PhDs with the kind of expertise that is required? And I'm hearing of some good initiatives by the government to bring global AI researchers of Indian origin back into India and set up labs with them. But I think that is a little bit of a medium-term opportunity. Those people need to come back into India. They need to set up labs, train new doctoral candidates. It isn't easily, even if we start today, by the time this translates into commercial opportunity, is a 5 to 10 year cycle. And I hope we do start today, but I would agree with Harshit that there is very much a talent paucity for anything at the foundational layers. I also believe there is a capital paucity. I don't think any of us have the kind of capital, even all of us combined don't have the kind of capital that is required to fund a foundational model business from scratch and take it to commercial deployment. We don't even have, the number of GPUs that DeepSeek alone has, our entire country doesn't have. So someone has to fund that capex. I don't think the commercial VCs in India today have that depth of capital available to fund those financial models, fund those foundational models. So it is absolutely worth building, but is it feasible to build in the short run? At least I have my doubts.
Dearth of capital, usually in the current scenario, you usually don't think of it, but given the scale at which we are talking about, I think it's a very, very important and valid point. Given that you guys, both of you sit on boards of, scaled up startups as well, who were disruptors, internal conversations, do you see founders getting really worried that they will be the ones to getting disrupted by AI native companies? Are those conversations already happening in the boardrooms? Both of you guys, could you throw some light?
Yeah, absolutely. I say AI is the most consensus view anybody has, so it is impossible. Forget scaled up startups. I would be surprised if like our banks and public sector institutions, even they were not having conversation on AI. I think AI is very much consensus. The question is, what are people doing about it? And I think as you translate some of those ideas into execution, that's where we see a delta or a difference. The one good thing that we've seen in some of the AI native companies is that in general, the teams tend to be a lot smaller. So coordination costs, the cost to actually sort of get feedback from a user, understand what to build, launch quickly, all of that, we see that cycle being significantly faster. I think the challenge with scaled up companies in general tends to be that the coordination costs tend to be higher. So the idea of sort of, disrupting your contact center with automation, just, flowing that through the layers, the layoffs you have to deal with, all of those things just become a little bit barriers to entry. So I'd say the intent is good and everybody discusses it. I think execution varies across companies.
Ritesh?
Yeah, I probably have an even stronger view on this matter. I think it will be really hard for incumbents to be fast in executing AI. And by incumbents, I of course mean large companies, but also possibly large tech companies. Uh, uh, and I'll give you an example. I met a travel startup recently, which is very, very rare these days to meet a travel startup. Um, they have a very simple holiday sales kind of a business model where they sell holidays. Now, uh, everybody in India, every OTA sells holidays. You go to Make My Trip, they will try to sell you a package tour, they will customize it for you. They do it using human beings. And when I met this startup, my assumption was that they are using AI to make that planning process better. And the guy said it's not a planning business at all. Travel planning is the easiest thing in the world because most people do not actually require highly customized packages. You choose from one of my 10 available packages, it's fine for most people. But they are using AI to actually sell the package. That is the harder part. And so it's a voice bot that actually interacts with the customer to sell a holiday package to them. And they then use AI to qualify leads and sort of grade, this is a customer that's ready to buy tomorrow, that I should pass to the human travel agent, and this is a customer that still requires a lot of counseling, and I'll keep using my voice bot for this customer. Now, can Make My Trip do it? Absolutely. Will Make My Trip do it tomorrow? I highly, highly doubt it. They have to change all their processes. They will have to, what will they do with the 800 people that are selling holidays? I think whenever there's a tech inflection, there is an opportunity for startups to sell the exact same thing in a new and more efficient way that the incumbents are selling. And I think we are in the middle of such a tech inflection. Across, whether you take travel is one example, but you take software, you take financial services, you take any sector of the economy, I think new startups will emerge because they are faster to adopt AI and they will create new workflows. Whereas what incumbents are doing is to try to fit AI into their existing workflows.
Did the founder talk about any cases of hallucination by the AI?
No, absolutely. Those are the kind of problems that they are solving, right? You have to. It's not just a matter of using a commercial voice bot and giving it to your and putting it in your front end. It is about ensuring that you don't sell packages to fictitious destinations, right? That the AI has
Exactly.
kept up in a minute. So all of that, those are solvable problems that good tech founders are solving.
Absolutely. We've run out of time. Just last one point. I know investors love to talk about it. 2/3 sectors around AI that you're excited about. Harjit, you can go first. Ritesh, you can go second, and then we will close.
Okay. So first is consumer AI. I think we're seeing a ton of activity. Lots of activity in the valley, but I think lot of it is centered around enterprise. I think Indian founders have a consumer DNA. That's sort of the startups and backgrounds they come from. So I think we'll see a lot more innovation, unique to India and from India. Second is vertical software. I think many industries have been laggards in terms of adopting software, but with agentic behavior and AI, I think you can, basically leapfrog that. So we're seeing a bunch of activity there. And the third is developer tools. Everybody wants to build an AI. Somebody has to build the tooling for it. There's lots of tooling still to be built to make it simple and easy. And so I think those are 3 areas we are spending most time.
Ritesh, has Harjit already spoken about 2 or 3 out of yours?
No, absolutely. It scares me when we have too much consensus between VCs on where to invest because it's indicative of groupthink. But I would like to repeat some of those. We are also extremely bullish on vertical enterprise applications using AI. We have already backed 5 such companies and are putting our money where our mouth is. Second, we are very bullish on AI-led services. We think a lot of the IT services, BPO, KPO models of today can be disrupted and will be disrupted by startups using AI to deliver those services. Third, while we are also very bullish on developer tools, we have two such startups. I'll point out, maybe in the interest of being contrarian, a fourth one, which is consumer products using AI, consumer services using AI. We have made 2 investments in that sector, and we are actually finding the AI to play a significant role not only in creation of the service but also the distribution of the service. So these are the top areas we are bullish on.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys, for taking time out and sharing your thoughts with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratik.